Hi, everybody. Choice and consequence. It's something that we live with every single day. My name is Lovelyn. Today, we're going to talk about choice and consequence. And you know what? Waking up in the morning and saying, I got out of the bed the wrong way is a choice you are making. Having a bad day, really, is a choice. Some people don't think it is, but you are letting things make you have a bad day. If you have not paid your rent, guess what? Carrying your face up and squeezing it and walking up and down and making everybody else miserable and yourself, it's not going to help you pay your rent. And let me tell you something, if you're miserable and say you have a bad day, people are less likely to help you out of your situation. So somebody that I was listening to one day said, we actually have no right to wake up and say, well, I'm having a bad day, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Because, and if you're a religious person or you believe in God, the person was like, you did not make yourself come alive that morning, because there are people who slept and did not wake up. So you actually have no right to say, well, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Now, as a human being, as a human being, we need to learn how to compartmentalize. And over time, I have had to learn how to compartmentalize. So, what am I saying? If I am having a bad day, I have to put it in a box and box that emotion somewhere and carry about my day. If I'm having this big issue that I need to resolve, I cannot wear it on my face. And listen, I'm human. There are times that I fail, and you can see it written all over me, But it is what it is. I've had to learn how to do that. But it also makes my life manageable. They actually think, studies say that men are better at compartmentalizing, but also they're terrible at communication, you see. So, But as a woman, women tend to communicate more and compartmentalize less. But then these are skills that we can train ourselves, you see. We can talk less and compartmentalize more. But talking, by the way, is not the same as communicating. So two different things. Anyway, let's not digress. Let's continue now. Choices and consequence. So another thing, a good example of choice and consequence, and don't shoot me, is gaining weight and losing weight. The more you eat, the more weight you gain, especially when you're eating ice creams and. And recently I was on a binging vibe and I gained quite a bit of weight. But now I'm losing the weight. Both are choice and consequence. I made the choice, I lived with the consequence. I got tired of living with the consequence, I made a change. So most of the choices we have to make in life are not permanent, to be quite honest. They are temporary. So but sometimes the consequences are permanent. So you have to be quite careful with the choices that you make. When you make a choice to be a business person, it's a choice that you are making that I'm going to work for myself. I am going to go out there. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to work long hours. I'm going to try to make this thing a success. It also means that I'm not going to work for somebody else. I'm going to be my own boss. That is a choice. But then you have to live with the consequence, because things are hard. Being an employee is hard. Being a business person is harder. I've been both. And I can tell you, having to be on the other side to worry about paying people's salaries is harder than just being an employee. But, at the time I was an employee, I thought that was the hardest thing in the world. So it's all about perspective, but it's also about choice and consequence. Whatever choice you're going to make, be sure you can live with the consequence. Sometimes we're not sure we're going to live with the consequence, but here is the thing you can do. You can play the scenarios out. You can say, okay, if I make this choice, these are the potential or possible consequence. Am I okay with any of this playing out? What is the worst case scenario? Sometimes we're so optimistic and we get carried away with optimism that we don't focus on the consequence. You are hoping for the best, but there's also a saying that says, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. What is the worst case scenario? Because those are consequences. It doesn't mean we can see into the future, but it means that we can prepare. So life is a choice. Whichever choice you choose is going to be hard. To be poor is hard, that's a choice. To be rich is hard, that's also a choice. Yes, life happens, opportunities happen that affect both, but not doing anything about either one is also a choice. So everything is a choice. Writing an exam, studying for that exam, To pass the exam is a choice. Not studying and playing around and failing, it's a choice, consequence. So you choose your choice and you live with the consequence. So this is life. Recently, and this is the final example, but recently a friend was saying to me that they were talking about choices and consequence, and we're just bouncing things off each other. And they're like, "Are you sure you've thought this through?" And I said, "Actually, I'm a very self-aware person, and I've thought about all of the consequence, the fallout of this, and everything, and I am willing to live with it. It's not about somebody else influencing me. It's not about someone else telling me what to do." And I listen to people. I'm one of those people that I like to hear other people's opinion about things, but it's their opinions. I don't have to do it, but I like to hear it. So I like their advice because there are other people that have wisdom that I don't have. There are other people that may have experienced something that I don't have, and by the time they share their experience, it gives you a different perspective on things. So it's always good to listen to other people, but ultimately the choice is yours. Whatever you do with all of that stuff, it's yours. So consequence, are you willing to live with the consequence of your choice for today? Are you willing to live with your consequence of your choice of yesterday? Because the choice of yesterday might not even play out today, it might play out tomorrow, next. So, choice, consequence, they go hand in hand. That's the thing you always have to think about every single day. So make sure that the choices you make, you can deal with the consequence. All right. This has been Lovelyn Bassett. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the choices you make can make your community better. And they can also make your community worse. So make sure to make the right choice. Have a good one. Bye.